Welcome to Focus. This segment is an opportunity for us to focus on what matters with people, places, and things. I'm your photographer, Darrell Everidge.
And on this edition of Focus, I interview both Mayor John Howard and Mayor candidate Emilio Kelly.
In November, the citizens of Monroe will again return to the polls to decide who the mayor of the city will be for another term. Now, Mayor Howard's been here for a few minutes, and
Yes,
what
sir.
in the world made you want to run for re-election?
Well, a lot of reasons. One, when I ran initially, I know how to build community. I've done it. I did it when I was at Lakewood Ranch. That was my sole job, was building community and community development. And when I came back to Monroe, I realized we're close. We were just so close, just a couple pieces missing. And some challenges that we needed to address. Number one, infrastructure pieces that historically, I'll take you back to 1979 when Ronald Reagan was running for president, and I'm a Reagan guy. The shot across the bow of Democrats was, you're all a bunch of taxers and spenders, and you tax too much and you spend too much, and all this frivolous spending is ridiculous. And he was right. But what happened was, in towns all across the country, people decided that, well, they weren't they weren't Democrats anymore. At the time, and they got into all these city councils and mayor positions, and they quit investing. And not only did they quit investing in necessary infrastructure. So, quit investing in doing roads the right way, which is the reason we were on Pinecrest in Washington last week. We had to remill the roads to bring them down to the level they were originally built and then repave. Before that, it was just when a road needed to be paved, they just slapped the pavement over the top. Well, which you would think would be okay, but you're blocking your stormwater drains. So, as a matter of fact, Highland Avenue, which is one of the next few in line, has asphalt higher than the curb. So the water runs off into people's yards. There's no drainage swales. So either the water stands or it just puddles in people's yards. So we had to address infrastructure. We have aging water and sewer. Right now we're renovating our wastewater treatment plant. We've redone Pilot Park. The last piece there is the bathroom that's coming. We are in the process of renovating Matthews Park, which had not been touched in decades. We have the Downtown Green, which is under construction, starting in November. That's going to be our amphitheater, the splash pad, the fountains and the trees and the shrubs and the sidewalks, public bathroom there. Reliant River Park, which was a gift from Reliant Homes, 123 acres, is going to be a nature park. With that, we now get to leverage our natural resources. We've never used our river before. So we'll have a place along the river that people can enjoy. And the number one reason that people move to an area, according to the Urban Land Institute, is for sidewalks, trails, and parks. Those three are one category. And we were lacking in that. And not only were we lacking a little bit, we were terribly lacking. My niece has a 3-year-old daughter. At the time I had a 3-year-old daughter. And they would have to go to Good Hope to play on the playground. If you go down Church Street right now and see Pilot Park, assuming it's not raining like it has for the last week every day, kids are there all the time. And it's mixed races, it's mixed ages. You build community through your social infrastructure, and parks and trails would be the top of that list. So I ran because I knew we were just lacking some investment, and I also ran because the mayor's job is to be a cheerleader for our town. And and I love this town, and it needed love. You can see right this second when you walk downtown on any, let's say, Saturday morning or Thursday night during Christmas season when we have candlelight shopping, the feeling of community spirit is just palpable. The people are happy. The folks who come visit from out of town are all amazed. I was told last week that 10 years ago, from a judge in the area, said 10 years ago, you'd come to Monroe, Georgia, and you felt like you were driving back into 1985. The town was just dead. And you come up now, and we are the cool place. I have a 22-year-old daughter who absolutely loves Monroe. She has moved back here, and it's just a cool place to be. I hear her friends talk about it. I was told yesterday by my CPA's daughter, lives in Lawrenceville, and she wants to move to Monroe. And she said, it is the coolest town around. And what that means, well, does wonders for my spirit and psyche, but it means we're on the right path. We have 20% reduction in crime in the last 3 years since R.V. Watts took over. We've been named the #1 downtown in the state. We're a Georgia exception on Main Street. Our events are packed to the walls. I mean, from our stationary parade last year, and the parade will be back this year as normal, to our downtown concerts and our fall festivals. The happiness of the general public is something I've just never seen this way before, and I can't blame them. Take a look at our arts. One of the cornerstones of a successful society is your art offerings. Monroe Walton Center for the Arts, Hope Reese does a fantastic job. All the classes are full. The store is selling. I mean, they do great. Their shows are outstanding. Mark Hammis at Onstage, those shows are sold out every single time. So it's real interesting to me that we even have those offerings anymore, because the 1970s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, there was just small participation. But now folks are here because they love to be here.
And Monroe has seen a tremendous amount of growth in the past few years. What areas would you like to see grow more in the future? Well,
it's not that I want to see them grow more. I want to see them grow more successfully. And I'll give you an example. When we started redevelopment of the city, and we started this under Greg Thompson, who was outstanding with keeping the city financially sound during an economic crisis. Nobody deserves a pat on the back more than Greg for keeping us in that arena. We decided to reinvest in downtown, which you clearly see as a success, and growing. Silver Queen this direction, L.R. Berger that direction. Businesses are growing up and down, and we're also going vertical. We have moved our police department out to the new Blaine Station. We'll be doing redevelopment out there. That side of town really needs a rebirth. And it's wonderful, and they're great people out there, but as Miss Brooks will tell you, she feels lost. She was like, well, we just feel neglected out here. Yeah, you're not neglected. We only have so much money and so much time, so we had to start here, and now we're moving out from the city center.
And what do you believe the three major problems are here in the city?
Well, aging infrastructure is a number one. That is the problem. Two, and I don't want to denigrate any of our neighboring cities or counties, and it may come across that way. There are neighboring cities and counties that have some pretty significant issues, whether it's crime, drugs, just total messes at their city halls, folks move here because they want to be a part of a winner. So our real estate prices are climbing, but you'll hear a lot about affordable housing. We want affordable housing, and we do. Our average home price in 2019 was below $130,000. And that's the last year we have statistics. I would imagine that 2020, 2021, we're probably at an average house price of $150,000. So still very affordable, but we have no inventory. We've grown, Walton County has grown, obviously with the explosion in Gwinnett. Clark County's growing, Oconee County's, I don't know how much they're growing, but they're pretty expensive and a lot of folks can't afford to live there. So we're the next best, safest, all the good things happening. So folks choose to live here now, which is great. So one of the things to be concerned about is no inventory, and the other thing to be concerned about is lack of quality rentals, because basically there's no inventory there either. So a lot of it goes back to, to our infrastructure. We're redoing our wastewater treatment plant. We're paving roads at a clip of about 10% a year. We have major traffic, major for Walton County traffic issues, not for Gwinnett or Atlanta. That's a totally different beast. But we have a truck route. Logan Probst and I went to the DOT in the city of Atlanta, right downtown, and met with Jamie Boswell and the team there and got their commitment to the truck route that budget will let in July of 2022. Construction should start almost immediately thereafter. And the day that truck route opens, we'll eliminate 90% of our truck traffic in town. I'm not here to make multiple changes to our city, our population. I'm here to see things through and to get things done. And seeing that truck route through is going to be a benefit for the city of Monroe for decades.
And if you're reelected in November, what do you hope to accomplish you haven't been able to at this point?
Well, we're at the point right now of, my dad always says, when you start a new business, it takes you a little while to find out where the bathrooms are. That's his expression, and it does. It takes a while to get your feet on the ground. When I was living here and involved I was on the planning commission for 7 years, I believe, before I chose to run for mayor. I was at City Hall a lot, and it takes a lot, because when you're the mayor, you're representative to the Development Authority Board, which we have Piedmont Industrial Park in the city. We'll have three announcements there by the end of the year, small announcements, in the $30 to $50 million range. We also will have a nice size economic development announcement coming at Stanton Springs in the very near future. Development Authority takes time. Chamber of Commerce takes a lot of time. I'm on the Children's and Youth Advisory Council for the state of Georgia. I am the vice president of our district with the Northeast Georgia Regional Council. So part of the accomplishments that have started were things that we cherry-picked very quickly, very, very early in my tenure, which was redevelopment of our parks. That was number one. Rebuilding our dilapidated infrastructure is number two. Working on our transportation projects that we can control was number three, but number four, and really we'll call it 3A, was dealing with the state on their projects, which would be the truck route, it will be the eastbound and westbound on and off ramps from Spring Street to 78 and 78 to Charlotte Rowell. So at the helm right now with a great team in place, an outstanding team in place, the consistent, steady leadership is where we are, and I'm not going to let that change. I was told when I was at Lakewood Ranch, and I think I told you last time we were together, that my boss at Lakewood Ranch had been the international president of Taylor Woodrow, great development company based in London, and he had also been the president of Taylor Woodrow United States. Came to Schrader Manatee Ranch, SMR Communities. We developed Lakewood Ranch together, and I was 26 years old, learning the business, and he asked me probably after a couple of months there, my take on our entire community plan. And we chatted a little bit, and I said, but I do have one question. I said, you don't really ever say anything in meetings. And he said, well, I was told early, which of course he's passing on to me in this particular conversation, never tell an expert how to do his job, but always hire experts. So where we are in Monroe, I can reach out to 5 or 10 people and go, that's the smartest guy in the room. That's the smartest guy in his field. We're lucky without this person, we don't succeed. So without Logan Probst is our city administrator. He is a financial genius. The guy is excellent with his management of his people. He runs a very, very tight ship. Rodney Middlebrooks with water, sewer, and gas. There's not a better person in the industry. Brian Thompson on electric and telecom. There's just nobody better. Of course, R.V. Watts is proof that 20% reduction in crime in 3 years on the job as our chief. Former Marine, nobody better. Shane Short, economic development, our Walton County Development Authority director, brought Facebook almost single-handedly. The man is responsible for billions, with a B, billions of dollars of investment in Monroe, Walton County, the state of Georgia, the Southeast region, and the United States. Because when you start bringing in folks like Takeda Pharmaceutical and Facebook, and the one that we've been dreaming of that's, I'm sure, just around the corner, you are a game changer. And my job working with the Development Authority also has been steady leadership, thoughtful, considerate movements from our city, what we can do to assist him. And then you throw in Dessa Morris as our workforce development coordinator. She is the best in the state. Folks are calling her to learn how to do what we do. Moved to City Hall, and we have Sadie Krozek, who is our downtown economic developer. And the cool thing about it, everybody sees that we have great events, and that's fine. And Leanne runs all of our events, does the farmers market, that's great. But Sadie knows and understands development. So we'll be looking at developing the parking lot behind the former police station. That's under redevelopment. We're redeveloping Blaine Station out here where the new PD resides. She knows about revolving loan funds, how those work, what we did there with Southern Brewing, with L.R. Burger, with the Row. Europe took advantage of that revolving loan fund as well. Our Downtown Development Authority, Lisa Reynolds leads that group, and she is in a volunteer position. She was just awarded best in the state last year. We have a team here that is an honor for me to work with, and it's also I will defend them with all I have. Nobody's going to get in the way of that.
And why do you believe you're the best candidate for the mayor's job?
Well, I'm proven that the campaign could be look out your window, look at the success. Now, talked to a friend of mine, Carlos Thompson, last week, and he said, your improvements are not in all areas, and he's right. He's 100% right, but he's 100% right because we don't have the time and the money to do everything at the same time, and you have to start somewhere. In the CDBG projects, community development block grants, that we have done over the last probably 15 years, we're in the $10 million range. The next one that we'll start will go out Church and Falker and Cherokee. In that area, we'll be redoing roads, redoing utilities, and making our improvements as much as we can, as quickly as we can, obviously as safely as we can. But we have to do it based on available time and available money. And the way CDBG grants go, they go to areas of low income and high population as directed by the state. So we found areas, for instance, we repaved 2nd, 3rd, and 4th streets. It might have been 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 4th, 5th, and 6th, but in that area. We repaved those a couple of years ago, redid the utilities there. That was about $1.5 million project. We had to submit that to the state, and then they awarded it based on the level of income and the number of rooftops. So we make as many improvements in as many areas as fast as we can to serve the most people of the city of Monroe.
All right, Mayor, that's all the questions that I have for you. Is there anything that you would add or want to touch on that I didn't talk about?
Well, when folks ask me why should someone run for office, I always tell them there are really three reasons that I say run, and two should always be applicable. One is you absolutely love the town. If you don't love what you're doing, love where you live, you probably need to do something to make it better. That's where the number 2 point comes in. If you love where you live, like I do, and you see things that you can change for the good, for the betterment, for the long-term betterment of everybody in the city, do it, which is clearly the direction that I took when I came here. I saw some issues that could be better, and we've made the upgrades, or in the process of making upgrades as the calendar allows. And then there's also the one that I didn't think of ahead of time, which is a lot of folks want to be in office for themselves. Hey, look at me, I do this job, but there's no follow through, there's no knowledge. And we need a person who loves the place, knows the projects that we need to address, and can address those challenges and address them successfully. So I'm proven. I'm a known commodity.
Well, thank you, Mayor Howard, for the time to
Yes, sir.
spend today to talk about this.
I'll talk anytime. Thank you.
And now we switch to Emilio Kelly and ask him these same questions.
In November, the citizens of Monroe will once again return to the polls to decide who the mayor of the city of Monroe will be for another term. I'm talking to Emilio Kelly. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Tell us why you decided to run for mayor of the city of Monroe.
Well, it's something that I've been invested in. I've been keeping up with what's going on here in Monroe. And I think more so now than ever, it is definitely time for Monroe to see something new, someone who's innovative, someone who's going to be about the change for the betterment of the community as a whole versus a certain section of the community, and someone who's going to be there to rally and be a cheerleader for the community, and someone who's going to be actively listening and caring and trying to address those issues that our citizens face on a daily.
Okay, and in your opinion, what do you believe the duties of the mayor's office is for a city?
For a city such as this size, it's primarily typically to be the spokesperson for the city at ceremonial events, and to really to be a cheerleader for, once again, the citizens here in the community. Of course, you're going to be there to oversee the business of the city, but you also have those individuals who are there to actually carry out the day-to-day operations of the city.
And Monroe has seen a tremendous amount of growth in the past few years. What areas, if any, would you like to see more growth in?
I must say that we've seen a significant amount of growth in the last couple of years, more so within these last 4 years than I've ever seen here as being a citizen and someone who's been born and raised here in Monroe. The growth that we've seen here has just been one to just say, hey, we got to put a halt to this. We have to stop it somewhere. Not meaning that, growth is not good, but for us to be a small town and a small city, the amount of growth that we've experienced is just really have been breathtaking. It used to be a point where you can go out into the city and everybody and everybody know who you are. And now you bump into you go out into the city and you may bump into someone and you don't know them. And it's not because you're not visible here in the city. It's just that, we've experienced a great amount of growth to the fact that you're losing your small town feel with the growth that we've experienced. I've been out on the journey speaking with citizens as I've been out campaigning, and, to hear some of these conversations as it relates to the growth has just been breathtaking. To hear, some of the older citizens who have been born and raised here, when they say, when they give it to you and they're telling you, the growth that they've seen, that we're experiencing, it's just one that, really, take them away. And, to experience and listen at one of the older citizens here, and, she verbatimly stated out her mouth, the amount of growth that we've experienced here in Monroe is just taking her by storm. And, if we don't get it under control, we're going to be looking like another Gwinnett and or Atlanta.
And what do you believe are the three biggest problems or challenges that are facing the city right now?
Of course, once again, we're facing a growth challenge, and is one of those things that are happening overnight. And with the growth, I think the growth is the umbrella, and you have certain components that falls up under the umbrella. With growth comes infrastructure. Infrastructure, with growth also comes crime rate increases. With growth comes, not enough space, not enough schooling for the amount of kids that are going to be coming into the city. So there are a lot of things that comes with one issue, which is growth, that makes up a lot of small issues. And if we don't, at least put a halt to this and, go back and take it slow and thrive with what we already have, then, we're going to be up against a battle, or what I would say, and or repeat from one of the citizens here in the community, we're going to be a jungle on a concrete.
And what do you hope to accomplish if you're elected in November?
One of the biggest things that, I'm hoping to accomplish is a one Monroe. And what does that mean? Everybody being able to feel valued here, everybody having an opinion here. And, even though, we won't be able to address all opinions and or things that the citizens would like to see change here, but at least the citizens do know and understand that they will have an opinion, and that their opinion does matter. So one of the things I'm really striving on is to be a one Monroe, making sure that once again, everybody is just being valued, and everybody can then move to our Monroe, which is taking ownership of where we live. We can be proudful of the Monroe that we so call our home and where we would like to live, work, and play. And then once we do those two things, then I strongly feel that we can be Monroe strong.
And where do you see the city of Monroe, say, 5 years from now?
Once again, like I said, we've experienced a great amount of growth. So with that, I do see that things are going to be changing over the next course of time. But one thing I can say is that I can only focus on if I am elected on the 4 years that I am being granted, one of the things in seeing where the city goes is that we need a strategic plan. And with that strategic plan, we need to be able to come together, one with the elected officials here with the city, also the elected officials with the county, and those which we serve, which is our citizens. And if we can bring everybody together to see what are the needs that the city needs at this very moment, and then two, what is the strategic plan? The strategic plan will then get us to a place where we understand the needs of the city, we understand the needs of our citizens, and then we can look at how we're going to reach those goals. Then once we have collectively, everybody sitting down at the table to see where we are, where we're going, and what that will look like, then I better can say, hey, we're in place, or we would know where we will be in the next 5 years.
And why do you believe you're the best candidate for the mayor of Monroe?
I believe I'm the best candidate simply because I am a social leader. I am one who don't have an agenda per se, or I'm not in the good boy system as you would have or listen at the citizens here in the community. I'm one of those ones who would love to bring the community together. We say we want to be a one Monroe, but at this moment and where we are, we have to be able to piece back the one in one Monroe. And with that, I think I am the right candidate because I can definitely, if not do that, I will definitely put my best foot forward because at this moment, I have my boots on and it's time to get to work.
And that's really all the questions that I have for you. Is there anything that you could add to this interview that I haven't touched on?
Yes, one of the things I would definitely like to add is that, we had rumors out that Mr. Kelly was against the DDA. That is totally incorrect. I would never be against the DDA because simply the DDA is a government entity that is grant funded. So I would never be against the DDA. And another thing that we have to understand is that Mr. Kelly just didn't voluntarily decide not to come to the political forum. Mr. Kelly was actually out on business travel and did make that mention to the chamber. So one of the things, we have to be careful about is just making assumptions. And, making assumptions can lead up into things that we don't want it to lead up to. So, you're hearing it out the horse's mouth. So we can go ahead and digress those conversations, and let's just look at where we are and look at where we're trying to go here in Monroe. And we can't be manipulated by those things that which an individual says that we're frustrated with the growth, or we're gonna just table with these up and coming not apartment but homes being built in the area. We can't just look at those individuals and let those individuals tell us that they're gonna be tabled when all we're looking at and saying, okay, we'll table it for the moment. However, November the 2nd is right around the corner, and once I receive your vote, then I will go back and then grant those wishes to the development. So we don't want to do that, but we want to make sure that we are actually being actively heard, that we are experiencing an expeditious amount of growth here within the city. Also, I want you guys to understand that even though I wholeheartedly believe that, our current mayor has done a great job with leading us from the first base to third base, I do not believe that he is the one to bring us home. I am your candidate, Emilio Kelly, running for mayor here in the great city of Monroe, Georgia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly, for meeting today and answering these questions. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir, and I thank you for the opportunity.